Hello, you're watching The Form, where we analyse the best races coming up over the weekend. We'll be concentrating domestically and across the Tasman this weekend. And we've got the full team back in to talk through all the action and hopefully find you the winners, Aiden, Leith and Bevon. So let's have a look what's coming up on the agenda. We start at Terappa, of course, the Waikato steeple and hurdles to look forward to for our jumps preview. Then we'll be taking a look at the two features on the flat there, the open races, our racetrackers as usual. Then we're heading to the River City. We'll take a look at the open race on the program there and the 3-year-old. Then we've got Group 1 racing, of course, Stradbroke Day at Eagle Farm. And we did get some best bets home last weekend. Let's hope we can find you some more to round out the show. We're off to Terappa for the feature meeting this weekend. So Leith, as I say hello to you, boy, we've had some heavy rain. So is that what we're going to be running on Saturday?
Yes, certainly. Obviously, we're going to get a heavy 10 on Saturday at Terappa. Over the past 9 days, I've had 120 odd mils of rain. And look, this time last year, the race was a heavy 10, but they only had 41 mils in the last 7 days last year. So it's going to be extremely heavy this week.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the first feature, race number 6 on the program, the Signature Homes Waikato Steeplechase. Nedwin is your favourite at $2.30 from the Cossack, of course, both from the Nelson McDougall stable. And there's a little bit of money around Leitrim Lad here, $9 now into $8.50. Well, let's take you back to the Cossack. Of course, he's won this race the last 2 years, including this performance here back in 2023. And Bevon, he looks a very good chance to do it again. He's got fantastic record at Terappa.
Well, he's a freak, Pip, isn't he? An absolute freak. I didn't mind his run on the flat last time in a strong race. Like, who knows, ran second to McCann. Those two horses are going to be in nice races going forward. Is it sentimentality, Leith, that we say, yes, he can with the big weight? I just can't knock a champion, and he'll be right on it for me.
Yeah, obviously he's got the 73 top weight kilos. They can't get any more than that. Probably the big favour for him is probably Matt Gillies. He more than likely would have had the choice between Nedwin and Cossack. And like you said, everyone wants a Cossack to win. He's such a great horse.
His record at the distance unbeaten in 4 is Terappa record's outstanding. He's won 6 from 8. And he's basically won the equivalent. He won the Waikato hurdles back in 21. He's won the last 2 steeples. He won the Ken and Roger Brown Memorial in the middle year as well. So his record is outstanding, and we'd love to see him bounce back. And the flat run wasn't bad last time out as well. Have a look at the key form race as well. This is at Terappa, the lead up a couple of weeks ago. A really good win from Nedwin. He is just a super horse, and he is the rising star. He's the big danger for the Cossack. Some nice runs in here. Renegade Fighter was good. Maybe just went a little bit too soon. Leitrim Lad after all this time, but Nedwin, I think he's the main horse for the Cossack to beat, Leith.
Yeah, certainly is. Obviously, he's got that 7 kilo swing in the weights as well. And look, that was his first start over the chase fences as well. And look, the best thing about him, he was strong to the line. He probably won for a little bit in hand as well. And what we didn't see then is he got taken on a long way from home too. You know, he didn't get all favours, but he was just too good in the finish.
Yeah, he was, and his jumping got him out of a fair bit of trouble on a couple of occasions and just got him going forward. I think Sean Fenham mentioned that on Saturday when they land and they're going forward. It's such a big advantage, and he just jumped beautifully. He looks the main danger, so therefore you just think the Nelsons have such a strong hand in the race, Pip.
Yeah, they really do with those 2 favourites. Could Quinella, but of course there are other chances. So let's head around the grounds, and we'll start with Corey Wiles, who rides Renegade Fighter.
He went really good first time I rode him, run second, and he should like the track a lot more this week with being wet, so hopefully pull off one closer or one better.
And I'll just sit back on him. He jumped a bit indifferently the other day, but if he can get his fences right this time and just get that last one right, which he didn't the other day, he should be right in it. He's got the flat ability, and when he does get those fences right, he can jump.
Well, we're hopeful that she will be pretty competitive up against the top horses. But, yeah, going in there without a steeplechase under her belt this year, she's probably going to be up against it a little bit. I'd be disappointed if she wasn't right in the finish. She's good enough to give them a fright.
There's probably a couple of question marks more this year than previous years around the Cossack, but he's a champion. He's done champion things, and I'll go with him again on Saturday at Terappa.
Yeah, it's certainly not going to be easy having his first start this season over the chase fences, but hey, we all want to see it. Hopefully the Cossack delivers on Saturday.
He's got to give Nedwin 7 kilograms, which won't be easy. But Nedwin's coming off, as Lee said earlier, a maiden steeplechase win, although it was an open company, whereas the Cossack's record has been sublime and the best of company. So I'm with them too, Pip.
Yeah, let's hope the champion can do it again. That's a look at the steeple as we jump back now to race number 2 on the program, the Fairview Motors Waikato Hurdle over the 3,200 metres. Very Flash is your favourite for Kevin Myers at $3.70. Then you've got Taika at $4 from Dictation at $4.40. Speaking of Taika, we'll go back to him winning last time at Terappa in the Dunstan horse feed colours. Goes up 1.5 kilos from this effort, Sweens, but was a really good performance, just sitting in behind the pace.
Oh, I thought he was beat and he jumped the last and just went on with it. His jumping got him out of a lot of trouble. Really talented horse. He's pretty free going on speed. I think the run that I picked up the most was Lord Spencer rolling home late, and that horse will be very competitive come to the extreme distances, but just a wonderful jumping stable, and this horse is going really nicely.
Yeah, he certainly is. Obviously, like you said, Lord Spencer was quite good late there, and the really heavy track conditions are going to suit him at Terappa this week as well. So, look, it's a strong field. He's gone up in weight a little bit though.
Yeah, and interesting to see the Dean Parker switch too. He's gone to the Very Flash. So we saw the Matthew Gillies switch when we were speaking about the steeplechase, but it's the Dean Parker switch for the hurdle. So Jay Kozicek, he's got a couple of decent rides in these big races. Taika's a very good horse and was really good last time out as well. Like you say, it's a key form line. Have a look at Very Flash last week. Looked as though he's rolling into this to win it, but just unable to pick up Billy Boy. I think he'd be a lot sharper for this run, and he's a very accomplished hurdler with a very good flat ability, Lee.
Yeah, he was very good as well at Wellington. Obviously, he ran down that second last fence, and it's quite interesting. He wasn't actually in the noms Tuesday morning, and he's a late nom. I don't know what could happen there. I think Mr. Myers must have sort of had a little bit of a sleep in, maybe.
Oh, shots fired. Very Flash is a really good horse. Not really convinced he's a real true stayer, but he's got so much natural ability that he gets away with it. Like he just rolled off on the corner there, maybe just flattened a fraction, and Billy Boy picked up, who was a very, very good horse. So I'll go with Very Flash, but I was a little bit confused. I think this is much more competitive, the hurdle, than probably the steeplechase, but I am with Very Flash as the winner.
Yeah, I'm with Very Flash. Obviously, he's on the quick backup from last week. I think the extremely heavy track conditions at Terappa on Saturday are going to really suit him.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe it's more about just sizing up this field and seeing it's a really winnable race for Very Flash. Someone with them too.
And that completes our look at Terappa. If you want to catch all of the jumps action, we'll make sure you tune in to Big Saturday nice and early from 11 a.m. for all the build-up. We turn our attention now to the flat racing out of Terappa, and we start with the race number 3 on the program, the Bailey's Country Sprint, where Twain has been backed into $1.90 favouritism. Shoes at $3.50 on that second line of betting, and then we do have Gospodin on the third line at $5. Let's take you back to some key form leading in, and we will go to Twain, back in fresh here, and it was very good. Still remains unbeaten, Aiden, on the heavy surface.
Absolutely. He's 4 from 4 on these track conditions. Unbeaten at Terappa as well. This was a really good resuming run. Speaking to John Bell, he's really happy with the way he's progressed through it. Caitlin's Wish wasn't too bad, just hadn't had a trial leading in and does come in 3 kilograms better. So I am expecting a better run from her, but I think Twain's the yardstick. He's won 5 of 8. He looks like a really good quality winter galloper, Lee.
Yeah, obviously he's got those little niggling issues, but look, he's a proper racehorse, and obviously he had a trial going into this race, but look, he won for a little bit in hand at Tiara as well.
Yeah, he's by Pierre and Kenner. They just keep getting better, and this horse is getting better and better. Agree with Aiden. I think Caitlin's Wish went in there really underdone. Stephen probably forced to go there to get a run into the horse. I think you'll see sharp improvement there. Shoes is a horse who torments me a little bit because you can get a really good performance, and this was one of them. You can also get a performance that you're just a little bit disappointed in. Gospodin's really good here hitting the line late after being snagged early, and this is the race Velocious comes off the trail and wins. So as far as sectionals will go here, Leith, you'd probably be with Gospodin is the best of the runners in this race.
Yeah, certainly. Obviously, Shoe's got a liking for Terappa as well. But yeah, Gospodin was really good late. It was a day when it was really hard to make ground in that sort of part of the track as well. So I thought his run was super.
It's a really interesting speed map in this race too, isn't it? Because there's so many go-forward horses. But, you know, Shoes is your probable leader, but there's so many horses who do race on the pace. Twain, Illicit Dreams, Mercurial on occasion, Gospodin on occasion. So just how this race pans out will be interesting, because it won't be just a sit and sprint that Shoes turns it into. She does go pretty well on wet conditions as well, so definitely a contender. This horse is interesting. Mercurial, he's won both his trials leading into this. He's a Group 1 winner of a premier sprint, and Jack Taplin takes his first ride here down to the 57.5. Is this trial form good enough to see him competitively?
Yeah, look, I think he's a good each-way chance. It's good to see Jack Taplin taking his first ride. Look, he's one of those horses that's going to give him an easy ride. He'll probably posse just outside leader, and if there was a question mark, maybe the extremely heavy track this Saturday.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, Leith. I think the heavy track is going to be tough, but it's the right race for Jack to get a horse to get Jack underway, because he'll just ping forward. He'll sit there. It'll be a sit and steer, and if the horse goes well enough, Jack might just get on the winner's dais. But Mercurial, at his best, will be very competitive here, Pip.
Certainly will be. So let's find out from his trainer what he's thinking. Let's hear from Stephen Marsh.
Going really well. He's had 2 trials, one on the synthetic and then one at Waipā to fitting him for this. He'll take natural improvement, but no, it'll be good to see him back on the track, and Jack Taplin's first ride for us, our new apprentice. With the amount of rain we got last night, I'm a little bit worried. We don't want it too heavy, but look, he'll go well with improvement in him.
Really happy with her. Obviously, almost gave her a quit back up at Terappa. It was probably just a little bit wet. Not sure we're going to get any better this weekend after last night, but just the bigger gap between races probably suits her a little bit more. I'm not sure she's a really heavy tracker, but you never know at this time of year what you're going to get. Only has to be a little bit wet and she can get through it, but this amount of rain's probably changed it a wee bit, so it's a little bit sort of hit and miss really.
Yeah, she's come on a lot. She didn't have a trial this time in, but she's had the 2 runs back now, so she should be a lot fitter than she was at her first few starts. So hopefully a heavy track and she'll be right there.
She's won on a heavy track before and she's carrying 54. Kenny Ray says that she's really well, so I'm expecting a bold performance.
He's done well. We haven't done a lot with him. He had a breeze up yesterday, thinking that with the rain about, the grass wouldn't be suitable today. We're very happy with him.
With Mercurial on the race, I just think Twain gets him beautifully, especially with another kilo coming off at 55 kilos. He's the real excitement machine coming out of the race, so I'll go with Twain as the winner here, Leith.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go Gospodin. Look, he hasn't won a race since May 2023, and look, I think we're going to see a track at Terappa this week. It's probably the heaviest we've seen for probably 4 or 5 years at Terappa. Yeah,
we'll be testing, no doubt about it. But just got to love what we've seen from Twain. He looks an out-and-out star of winter galloping, and I expect him to extend his winning record here, Pip.
Okay, that's what we're liking there as we move on now to race number 9 on the program. This is the mile, and we've got Uderzo as favourite at $3.30, Knight's Realm at $3.90, just fighting for favouritism, and then St Bathans with Cinnamon both around that $6. Let's go back to a handful of them coming out of Terappa, including Uderzo. Of course, Aidan, you were on this day. They changed tactics, took him to the front, and he was just too good.
Yeah, another string to the bow, wasn't it, Pip, to get forward in a race that was devoid of speed. There's a little bit more speed in this race, so it'll be interesting to see tactics again. But now they've done it this way, and with Rehan taking the 3 off down to the 53, it is up 2 kilograms, so this is easy. We know the quality of this horse, how competitive he's been in Easters in the past, and I just think he's ready to do it again.
Yeah, certainly. Look, it was a good ride by Rehan, and obviously he gets down to 53 kilos this week. Look, I think the win would have given the horse plenty of confidence as well. As we've seen in the past, sort of 6-7 runs before that at Terappa, he was so unlucky.
After about 50 metres on race day, you think, oh, God, this Sullivan-Scott team have done it to us again, because once he got across to the lead, just couldn't see them getting past a good horse who finishes strongly. And you know, why wouldn't they do that again, although he's drawn out in a small field? If he gets to the front again, pretty tough to beat. I thought the source is really interesting in the race, and I know overall it is going to be short of its best. But this was a decent sort of run after being checked and having all sorts of things actually go wrong in front of him. And he is a really nice horse going forward over further, Cinnamon. But I think that without freshness in his legs, he wouldn't be quite competitive over a mile on a tough track, Lev.
No, we obviously he's a really exciting stayer, and if those stayers coming back fresh up, they can do that fresh up. His second up record's okay. He gets Trisha Moodley on, gets in with a nice weight, 53 kilos, so maybe a top 3 chance.
Terrific run. You just don't see them do that at Ellerslie in recent times. So, yeah, with Tristan on second up, and as long as the horse has progressed to the Connection's liking, then he'll be competitive. Next we have a look at here is St Bathans and Knight's Realm. This is the Whiskey and Roses race. Now, Knight's Realm drops down to the 54 kilograms with Sam Collett doing the riding this weekend. So it's a drop. It's a just a 3 kilogram plus swing on St Bathans, who runs fourth. St Bathans won't mind the heavy conditions. Knight's Realm maybe just a little bit less well performed on the heavy tracks, but I think Knight's Realm ready, and another one you can throw into multiples.
Yeah, I thought the run of the race was probably St Bathans. I know Knight's Realm. It's good to see Sam Collett back this week, having a first meeting back for a few years. So, look, he's one of those horses that he loves Terappa. He never goes a bad race. So just, I can't probably have him on my win ticket this week, though.
St Bathans is just one of those horses, and I don't want to upset the Dylans because he's won 300,000. He's been great for them. But he just looked the winner at the top of the straight and then didn't quite go on with it, and he's done that on too many occasions for me. I just thought Knight's Realm coming inside St Bathans in the worst of the track conditions was pretty good. So I won't be with St Bathans myself personally, Pip.
Okay, staying away from him at the $6. One we haven't mentioned yet is Channel Surfer, and Aidan did catch up with co-trainer Graham Richardson.
He's going really well. He looks $1 million. It was a little bit disappointing last time. Look, he's a funny horse. He doesn't like getting amongst them, but if he gets his way, he'll just turn up and surprise everybody. And I'll throw the blinkers back on him. So he is working very well, though. So for this time of year, his coat looks amazing.
First up run was amazing, over the 1400, up to the mile suit. Sometimes these staying sort of horse, they go so massive first up. Second up, they're a little bit vulnerable. Tristan Moodley on, very much in form, 4 winners yesterday. 1 kilo off his back, he'll get him well. Look, he'll race well, but better suited probably a couple more runs deep into a prep and getting up over ground.
He gets conditions to suit. I think as he's got older, certainly the heavier tracks have been more to his liking. It's just whether he can run out a strong mile on what will be a reasonably testing track on Saturday.
Yeah, he's got the 62 again, so we'll take 4 kilos off him. And he was really good last start. Probably maybe would have liked to see him a little bit handier, but like he got home really well, and with that weight on the back, I think he went a great race, and that's probably what we could have expected of him. So same again.
He's going brilliantly. He pulled up well after his race, and he's a big, robust horse anyway, so he can handle the work. He just had a quiet week last week, and yesterday morning he did a piece of work, tomorrow morning a piece of work, and then he's ready for Saturday.
He had a couple of weeks off, and then he's just sort of slowly come up. He's very fresh, and yeah, hoping for a good run, good claim on Saturday with a good rider. So he's just well. He's always well in himself, and his work's always pretty good. So yeah, no, hoping for a good run.
My gut tells me Duzo's probably going to jump to the front and be really tough to beat from there with the lightweight on his back. But I'm just going to throw one out there at good value. I think Cinnamon is a really good horse to be following further than the mile on Saturday, but I think on a tough testing track condition, Cinnamon might just be able to give them a little bit of a fright.
Yeah, I'm going to go St Bathans. I thought he just peaked on his run a little bit, the Terappa, and the heavy testing tracks that Terappa's really going to suit him this week.
Oh, you boys went on New Jersey last time out, and I'm going to stick. I'm going there again, and I think he will be prominent in running. Maybe not leading, but somewhere right there. I just think he's just better. Almost Uduzo.
Yeah, sticking loyal there, Aidan, and that does complete our look at Terappa. Whatever you like, make sure you tune into the action. Gets underway on your big Saturday from 11 a.m. Time for our race trackers. Make sure you note these ones down. Leith, you're up first. Who are you liking?
Yeah, I'm going to take you back to Ellerslie Trials early in the week, Pip. Heat 25, top dollar. Well, this is a win. The horse here with the white shadow row on, down the outside of George Rickon. Look, he's had a few starts, trial starts, and I just like what I saw here. For the last 50 metres, he really put his head down, and there's a race at Ruakaka on the 28th, maiden 1200. I think he'll be going awfully close.
I'll take you back to Trentham on Saturday and a horse called Forstian Bargain. I thought the young lady rode it really well. It was back last, it swooped around them, and she just got beaten to the outside fence, which held her up for a few strides at the top of the straight, and then she didn't really get clear galloping action activities out wide there. I thought she did a good job, and we won't be getting the 30s or 40s that we had that day.
I'm going to take you to Ellerslie last week, and on a day where a lot of horses who were making big ground from the back with the main eye catchers. I thought Pax Monday was terrific. This is in the end, a really swoopers race, and Pax Monday kicks really bravely for this second spot when all those other horses, except for the sixth place getter, have all come from off the speed. I'm going to stick with Pax Monday for next time.
And I'm sticking at Ellerslie as well. Mr. Marigold, he was well back as well. Comes up the inside here underneath Kate Hercock. He's had 2 starts back since coming back across from Australia, and he's run 3rd and 2nd in both. I think he's building towards a nice win here, and he had the best closing sectionals across the board in this maiden. So I'll stick with Mr. Marigold. As we have a look at a summary, make sure you note these ones down. Pop them in your race tracker. Top dollar for Leith, Forstian Bargain for Bevon, Pax Monday for Aidan, and I'm with Mr. Marigold. We head off to the River City for our other domestic meeting on Saturday. Bevon, are we getting the same kind of weather in your area?
It's certainly been wet, Pip. I don't know if it's been as wet as the far north. They've only had 20 odd mils this week, but it will be a heavy 10 rails true, basically, around the circumference of the course. The real enigma going to Wanganui on Saturday is that it was heavy last time in, and they didn't go anywhere near the outside fence. It was on speed, on the rail. Just not sure what's going to play out, but it will certainly be a heavy track on Saturday.
Okay, and yes, it has been playing that way as we take a look at the first feature, race number 5 on the program, the Lotus Civil Open. Over the 1,340 metres, Bell's Bow at $3.80 from Bradman at $4.20 and Tobias, both sitting on that line of betting. We're going to take you back to a race though at New Plymouth where a handful of them come out. Cha-Cha Bar getting the win. Aidan, who stood out for you in this race?
Well, Cha-Cha Bar's going really well. Terrific run. I was taken by Make Time. I just think third up may be the horse who's the big improver into this as well. So on the 53 kilograms for a horse who really is well proven on the wet tracks. But yeah, take nothing away from Cha-Cha Bar, and in behind them a couple of eye catchers as well. Tobias drops nicely in weight. Old Town Road was okay too. So yeah, interesting race.
Certainly thought Tobias was quite a good run in the race. Cha-Cha Bar was on the inside where it was a bit of a fast lane that day as well. So look, that hard fit these horses now coming into winter.
This is like a dress rehearsal for the Opunake Cup in many ways, I think. I think pretty much the entirety of this field will possibly head on to the Opunake Cup. So who's trying to position themselves weight-wise? Cha-Cha Bar was really good fresh up. Look, I thought Tobias was excellent in the run on that particular occasion. This is Bradman, and this will show you just how amazing this day was, because it was on speed. That's ears back in front from the south, and what a performance it was. It was a great win, but Bradman, he sort of had to work. He probably had a track to suit him on this day, Leith, but he just had to carry a bit more than a couple of others, and that probably told in the end with an on-speed bias.
Yeah, you don't obviously see that at Wanganui when they're winning hard on the inside. Then, like you said, heavy 10, they're normally on the outside. So, look, Bradman gets in with the 2 kilos off his back. He's got a liking for Wanganui. He's got to be a top 3 chance. Yeah,
he never puts in a bad race. And like you say, he handles a wet track. He's a contender in the race as well, and geez, Bevon, you'd be hoping there's some northern influence in that at Opunake Cup rather than this just CD-trained fiesta on Saturday. We've got Tavish Court running 4th here last time out. So consistent, has run in 63 starts, 22 top 2 finishes. And the effort for 4th here was okay. He'll be better deeper into the preparation, you'd think.
Yeah, look, I thought it was probably the run of the race. Look, he ran the best 800, 600, 400 and 200 metre sectionals, and he had 59 kilos as well. So I thought he was a great each-way chance this Saturday.
Just loves this place. Just loves this place, TV Court. He always picks up a win each season. Oh, look, I thought on the basis of that run, he's coming to it really nicely again and could be really, really dangerous. Here's the horse that really impressed me out of its fresh up run, Bell's Bow. We remember what this horse did through the back end of last preparation. This is a fresh up run on a tough testing track condition. Sinbin had the race set up for it just to come off the back of a tearaway leader. That horse has gone on to win post that. Thought Bell's Bow was excellent. I think it is Bell's Bow's season, and I think very, very dangerous. Probably a little bit short on the market, up against some big boys this Saturday, Leith, but a talented horse.
Yeah, that was a rating 75 race. I know she's up and coming, but she's going to meet those real tough old sprinters on heavy 10. Is she well weighted? Probably not. I can't have her this week, sorry.
Yeah, she's out of the handicap for sure, but there was some sort of run. And I've got to say, Sweens, I think you've just about convinced me there. Drops 5 kilograms as well, and yeah, we just know these winter conditions just even things out. But I'm going to go with one of those old-time, hardened winter sprinters that Leith spoke about. I'm going with Make Time on top for me, just sticking with Lisa Ladder.
Okay, well, I've stated my case. I'll go with Bell's Bow. Had it as a racetrack out of its fresh up run. Love what it was doing last preparation. Apparently the horse is strengthened up. And if it cops the track conditions, which it should do, I think it's really, really dangerous. But it is a fair step up.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tavi's Court. Look at great each way chance. You're getting the odds surge of $16 and look, ahead 59 kilos, drops to a beautiful weight, 55.5 this week.
A bit of value like that, Leith. That completes our look at the Open. Let's go back now to the 3-year-old race earlier on in the program. Race number 2, the higher pull 3-year-old over the 1,340 metres. Matiwa at 2.20, favourite from War Queen at $3.40. Let's go back to Matiwa, of course, was the same day with the on-speed bias. And, of course, Craig put him right in the race here, Aidan, and he kicked away impressively.
All those who followed you in, Pip, your best on the form this week. Matiwa winning really nicely under Craig Grills. This time Sima Mkotoa takes 4 off down to the 53 kilograms. So that's a decent drop for a horse who's in good form, and just the depth of competition in this race wasn't quite there. I thought Matiwa was more than capable of going back-to-back, Leith.
Yeah, and look, Craig was very easy on him in the last sort of 50 to 100 metres. The horse had his ears pricked, and like you said, Similar on this week gets the 4 kilos off. It loves the track there as well, 1 for 1.
Feels like a bit of a sit and stare job, doesn't it, with what that performance sort of rated in markets. We didn't know the on-speed bias at that point of the day, but it was still super, super impressive. Probably the biggest danger is clearly War Queen for Curtis Pertab. It was a little bit fired up this day. It was a little bit awkward to handle. She sort of fired out of the gates and put herself there, and it was a very tough effort to hang on. Look, with the weight coming off Matiwa, it's probably a little bit awkward for this horse, but there's plenty of upside around War Queen because she was tough as old boots on debut.
Yeah, she was very tough. She's not overly big, and like you said, she took a while to get in those gates, and yeah, I think the biggest question mark for her, she's got to improve off that last start, and she's got to behave a little bit better than she did last start.
Good win though, and it's as we said, it's a field that doesn't have a great deal of depth to it, so you've just got to respect War Queen on that. However, for me, I've gone to the top of the book, gone with Matiwa on top, expecting this horse to go pretty close to making it back-to-back wins, Leith.
Yeah, I'm with Matiwa as well, $2.20, just put it for all your multis beginning of the day.
Yeah, I think there's a couple on Saturday that you can put through all your multis, and I certainly will have Matiwa through mine at above $2, so get involved there.
Yes, and don't forget Odds Surge 2 available on each and every race. The first race from the River City gets underway at 12 p.m, but you can catch all the build-up on your big Saturday from 11 a.m. It's another massive day over in Queensland, of course, Eagle Farm. We look forward to the Group 1 Stradbroke and the JJ Atkins, and we're lucky enough to have Brittany Taylor on the ground. Good morning to you, Brittany. What weather and track conditions can we expect come Saturday?
Good morning, Pip. Well, the sun is shining here in Brisbane, which has welcomed relief because you'll remember that 2 weeks ago they had that meeting rained out. They never got through the whole Derby Day program, and it's caused all sorts of race shuffling, having to move the Kingsford Smith to last weekend, which means a lot of these horses going into the Stradbroke are off the 7 days. The track has had a fair bit of wear and tear given how much rain it did cop. but it's been sunshine all week. They've put 5 mils of irrigation on in the last 7 days, and as of 7 a.m. this morning, we're rated a soft 5. So you'd imagine with the sun shining, that can only be an improving surface.
Okay, that's what we want to hear for what is a big day as we take a look at the feature. Race number 8 on the card, the Stradbroke War Machine, $2.80 on the drift, out to $3.20. A Golden Mile at $8.50 in our market, and then Rise at Dawn at $11. So that's currently how the market is playing. Of course, we'll take you back last time to a handful coming out here of the Kingsford Smith. Who really stood out for you, Brittany?
Well, I thought Komochi was eye-catching. You look at this and it's hard to take your eyes off Jolie Starr, who was so impressive. How she won it, I do not know. She really put the afterburners on to finish off over the top of them. Golden Mile does all but win, nearly manages to clinch it. Such as the market has respected him as well. This is the Godolphin horse in the blue. It's one of the only colours that you can actually see. Some of these are a little bit darker. But what we're seeing here is that this horse has firmed in the market since drawing barrier 2. I just thought Komochi, off the fact that we're at an each way price here, she's a Group 1 winner, I think she can absolutely run a huge race on Saturday, and given that we're getting the price, I thought that the fact that she hasn't raced off 7 days before, that is the unknown, but I thought given the price we can find out.
Yes, Kiwis love some value, so we like that in the Stradbroke as we now move to, of course, the other Group 1 on the day, the JJ Atkins, race number 6 on the program over the mile. Cool Archie, favourite at $3.70. Hidden Achievement just slightly moving out to $6, and then Grafter Burners at $8 on that third line of betting. Again, we've got a key lead-in race to take you back to here, the Group 2 Sires Produce, where Brett Cool Archie made it 4 in a row here coming off the pace. Was he the one that you were leaning towards here or something else?
I'm going with something else, and it's hard to go past Koolachi off what he's done, but this was a heavy 10 service that day. He's done an enormous job. I'm actually with the horse that ran second in Farnacle. I just think this horse is going to be really well suited up to a mile of the JJ Atkins on Saturday. This horse is actually out of a New Zealand Oaks winner, so bred to be able to get a little bit more of a journey, and I think that he might even be a little bit more efficient on top of the ground. So I thought Farnacle, again, another one at an each way price, because there just has to be a big question mark on a lot of these 2-year-olds on how they actually come through that arduous task of getting through that heavy 10 surface on Sire's Day. And if there's one lot of trainers that I have a lot of faith in, it's Waterhouse and Bott.
And well supported in the market. That's a look at the 2 Group 1s, but we do want to talk about one of the Kiwis who didn't get to make the Stradbroke, Pierre here. He'll run around in race number 2. He's a $6 chance. And Brittany, as we get back to you, what did you make of his effort across the Tasman there, and do you think he's a chance here?
I think he's an excellent chance. $6 I think is a wonderful price for him as well, because you consider the horse that won that BR Sprint is War Machine. War Machine's favourite for the Group 1 Stradbroke. So this is a listed event, and Pierre's not that far behind him. It was a great run. He drew 16 of 16 on that occasion and just had to save ground up the inside and hit the line late. I think that off the back of that, at $6, he's an excellent chance. I think the one to beat has to be Transatlantic. Tony Gollan has an enormous opinion of this horse and really wants to get him into the Stradbroke. We have had one scratching already out of the Stradbroke. Transatlantic only needs one more to gain a start. That would be huge to the chances of Pierre. So hopefully Transatlantic gets a start in the Stradbroke, and then we could see Pierre, I think, would all of a sudden become a clear-cut favourite in that Wayne Wilson. I did catch up with Darren yesterday. The horse looks magnificent, but I asked him, has he had to change his training now that they're going to a mile?
Tuesday would have been his final bit of work, but because he's now looking like going the mile, we'll just do a little bit of 3/4 pace tomorrow. Just to, it's more for the trainer's peace of mind more than anything. I think the horse is well and fit enough, and I think a mile will be no problem. But yeah, he'll do a little bit of 3/4 tomorrow, swim Friday, and then hopefully bouncing out of his skin on Saturday.
So there was Darren yesterday. They seemed really bullish about just how the horse has been behind the scenes. He looked absolutely phenomenal. So I expect a really forward showing from him in that Wayne Wilson. Keep an eye on that scratching, because if Transatlantic comes out, he is a huge chance. And that one other that I really like on the program, we go to the last, Faulkner Park, I think is the best of the day.
I love it, Brittany. Thank you very much. And of course, we'll catch you on Saturday to give us all the updated information. And maybe if he doesn't come out, we can take the Quinella there. So catch Brittany on our big Saturday, and hopefully Pierre can get the job done on what is a massive day out of Brisbane.
One Eye Bandit swept up and joined Kotari Argent, who fights on, but One Eye Bandit, he's just throwing a couple of fancy ones in. He held it together, One Eye Bandit. He's going to win easily.
Jesco, the hot favourite in the Frack Piper colours, drawing clear, and a new jumping star is born. Jesco takes the 1-2 chase, and Fadden loved it.
Jolie Star's running on well now. Is it too late though? Zarastra the inside, Golden Mile. Jolie Star flying out wide, photo finish. Jolie Star got up in the nick of time.
So we delivered the goods last week on the form. Let's hope that can continue. Leith, who have you found for us this week?
Yeah, I found it a pretty sort of testing weekend, Pip, but I'm going to go Sunday at Matiwa, race 3, Small Town Girl. You get the claim, Rahan Goramon and Ralph Manning's horses. They just find another leg in these heavy sort of 10 tracks, and hopefully we can get one on the board this week.
I don't like going back to the well, but no one would have missed Who Knows last start, being really unlucky behind McCann. Gets her swinging the weights, even though Tony Davies stays aboard. Who Knows with any luck in race number 7 at Whanganui.
You've been with that horse all preparation, Bevon, so well due. This horse was a tracker of mine a couple of weeks ago. Ascension came from a long way back, exceptionally very good against the pattern of the race. So Ascension in the 4th looks well poised to break maidens, Pip.
It certainly does, and I'm going for Terappa as well, the race preceding that, race number 3. I'm going for Twain. I think he can remain unbeaten at Terappa and on a heavy surface. I think he'll really relish the conditions. So Twain, for me, now backed into around $1.90. The Whale jumps in with Maro Macindon, Leith's with Small Town Girl, Bevon with Who Knows, I'm with Twain, Aiden with Ascension, and Honky Tonk High for Rozzo in the first race on Friday night out of Hatchrick Raceway. And that completes the form for another week. As always, thanks to Leith, Bevon and Aiden. Hopefully we've found you plenty of winners. Enjoy the action. Good luck to Pierre in Australia. We'll catch you back next week.